Hey guys, it's Aljaman, and today this video is going to be a little bit different to the videos I usually put out. Usually, I come in and say, okay, here's this, here's some topic to do with language learning Japanese. This is how you do it. This is how you can, use it to get better at Japanese and all of that. And kind of sit here and just, one-sidedly present to you some information and say you should do this or, give some advice. But today, I wanted to kind of talk about this thing I've been doing recently, which I think has a huge potential to possibly change up, how people learn languages and make it much easier to learn a language. And I just kind of want to state what I've been thinking and state what I've been doing and kind of hear what some of you guys think about it, because it's a bit different to the general kind of opinions of the immersion learning community. So I wanted to just put this out here and see what you guys think about this. So recently I watched a video from this other YouTuber, this video here, where, he went in and he got say TED Talks for Spanish, learned all the words and just listened to it over and over again to get better at listening to it. And at first I thought that's kind of pointless. I thought that's pretty dumb. Honestly, I thought there's probably not much to this. I didn't think it was really anything significant. And then from there, I had a few people ask me recently saying, I've been listening to beginner podcasts where they slow down the Japanese. They talk pretty slowly and it's, easy to understand. What do you think about this? They asked me, do you think there's any merit to this, any value to it? And at first I kind of brushed it off and thought, probably not. There's probably not too much there. Probably just stick to immersing in natural content, watching whatever until you understand it. Just get used to it. Because, that's a general consensus of the immersion learning community. So I put that forward too and said, okay, don't do that, do it like this. But recently I've been experimenting a bit with stuff like that as well. I got some words from a TED Talk and learned that and listening to it over and over again, and thought about the beginner podcasts and stuff like that as well. And thought, maybe there is actually something to this. Because if you're listening to this and getting used to it and understanding it and being able to understand full videos in their entirety, even if you can't understand other ones, if you get good enough at listening to that, will that make your brain better at picking out those same sort of sentence structures and same words in other sources? Do you understand what I'm saying? Say you listen to a beginner podcast and you understand all of it. Say you get 10% of your immersion from that, and you just immerse with that and you're understanding the majority of it, of all of it. Your brain kind of gets used to what the language should sound like, the structures in the language and things like that. Will that make it easier then to pick out those same sort of things when you go to just natural immersion, whether that be, other YouTubers, TV shows, whatever. But yeah, let's say, other YouTubers or podcasts and stuff like that. Will listening to beginner podcasts and doing that other thing where say you watch a video where you know all the words and you've listened to it until you can understand it, will listening to those heaps make it easier to understand normal content? That's one thing I've been wondering. And the reason that I've started to think that there might actually be something to this is because without even really noticing, I've kind of always done this through music. Most people in the immersion learning community say, okay, there's no value there. I've talked about before, listening to it could help with your listening or whatever like that. But another thing, is that maybe it actually helps you get better at picking out words and even memorizing some words that aren't used as commonly or used as commonly, common words and stuff. Will listening to songs over and over again make your comprehension better? Well, not comprehension, but make it easier to pick out words in normal immersion? And I think the answer to this is actually yes. Now, one of the biggest things that makes me think this is because, say for instance, I'm talking about Japanese or Slovak. I love listening to music. I listen to music all the time. And I love learning, I'm super interested into learning lyrics of songs that I listen to. I like the lyrics and the meaning behind songs. So if I'm listening to Japanese music, even in the beginning, I'd learn all the lyrics, the words in the lyrics, and listen to that over and over again until I could just listen to it and pick out all of it and understand the meaning. And, of course, that would make me memorize words way quicker because I'm hearing them over and over again through the music and memorizing them through that. And I've done the same thing through Slovak, learning of the lyrics, listening to them obviously over and over again because I'm listening to the music and I can pick it out eventually and I'll be fine. I can understand it and all of that. And so I thought, okay, well, there's some value of picking, learning new words and things like that. But I thought that was all there was to it. But the thing that makes me think that there actually might be something more to this, and actually it might help you be able to pick out words in all of your immersion, is because I actually listen to a lot of Russian music, and I never really learned any Russian. It's similar to Slovak grammatically, so I can kind of if I just know the words, I can get by with the grammar. The grammar's similar enough for me to be able to understand things. So one of the artists I like in Russian, he's from Belarus, and I listened to a heap of his songs and I learned a bunch of the lyrics, and so I could understand it. And so I wanted to be able to actually listen to it and understand it real time. So I learned all the words in the lyrics, and I've just listened to it over and over again until I can understand it. But one thing I've noticed now is that when I go and say I hear a bit of Russian somewhere, I'm listening to Russian, whether that be in, say, a Russian UFC fighter's interview or something like that, I can actually pick out a lot of those words that I've become able to pick out through the music and stuff like that. And I thought, well, that's interesting because I've never immersed in any other sort of Russian. So this kind of, isolates the variables, doesn't it? Like, say I did the same thing through Japanese and Slovak, which I have, I listen to the music, pick out the words through that, and then I go listen to just normal immersion, and I can pick them out in there. But there's no, I'm doing the music and normal immersion anyway, so there's no way of knowing whether that's coming from just the immersion or the music as well. Or, there's no way of knowing. But since with Russian, I only listen to the music to get some sort of immersion, then I've gone from that to actually being able to pick out these words in my immersion and understand them. Well, not in my immersion, but, hearing them here and there and understanding them makes me think there's actually something to this, Like maybe hearing these over and over again in something that you can understand and is easy to understand will make it easy to pick out in your normal immersion. Now, I'm not saying you should go back to beginner's level stuff and, do the traditional method of, say, start as a beginner and then build your way up, learning, going harder and harder. I still think that's wrong. However, maybe there's actually some merit towards, say, immersing, say we're talking in the context of Japanese, you're immersing in, say, Hikaru or something like that, some normal YouTuber, getting 80, 90%, maybe even more of your immersion through that. However, taking 10% of your immersion through easy to understand things such as, other things that are super comprehensible, almost 100% comprehensible, and you just listen to all the time, not all the time, but for that 10%, whether that be, beginner podcasts or just easy to understand videos or something that's, beginner aimed or whatever, that is easy to understand. Will listening to that make it easier then to go and listen to Hikaru and pick things out? I'm starting to think actually maybe there is possibly a lot of merit to this. I want to hear what you guys think about that. But yeah, maybe even, you use the music. So say you've got a band you like in Japanese or an artist you like in Japanese. Will listening to their music and learning all the words in the lyrics make it easier for you to pick those words out in your normal immersion? I really think there's something to this. I think that will actually work, especially with lyrics. Yeah, with lyrics, there's a lot of words that are relatively rare and you won't hear very often in immersion, but they'll be in a song you like, right? So I like a band called Indigo Land. It's a Japanese band. They use a lot of lyrics, words in the lyrics that aren't common whatsoever in normal speech. And so I never really encounter them. However, I know them, and if I hear them, I know them instantly because I've heard it so many times through one song or two of the songs or whatever. So I think there really is some merit to learning the lyrics of music and things like that, especially now with Spotify. You've got the lyrics, right, written under all the songs. So say you're listening and you read along with the lyrics a few times as you listen to it. You might read the lyrics a few times as you listen to it, but then next time you listen to it, the lyrics won't be there. It'll actually be easier for you to pick out the lyrics this time because you know what they should be. And then I think if you do that enough and you listen enough and you can pick them out super easy, will that have unlocked a new level of ability to pick out words in your immersion? I really think it does. I think the ability of just the process of just listening to these words over and over again through any means and understanding them, say that be beginner podcast music or anything like that, will make it a lot easier for you to pick out in just normal immersion. This is just something I've been experimenting with recently, and it's a thought I've had recently. So there's no I'm not saying this is this. I'm not trying to say that this is 100% the case. This is what I've been experiencing, and I'd be interested to see what you guys think about this whole kind of thing and whether you think there's any merit to doing stuff like this. But yeah, this is just a quick video here, just to kind of put this thought out here and get some, input from you guys, in the comments, in my Discord, wherever. If you're not in the Discord, join and we can have a discussion about it and all things like that. I just want to hear about what you guys think about this whole thing. I feel like in the traditional learning space, maybe this is common sense, but in immersion learning, not many people are talking about this. In fact, most people say beginner podcasts or music or anything like that is relatively useless content to listen to. So I don't know. I'm starting to get the feeling that it's not. So tell me what you think in the comments, guys. And yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks.